Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Neremik. Welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time, I didn't mean to click on that. Last time we finished our investigation for Case 5, which means that we are finally getting into the final bit of the game. That being the final trial. Don't know if the series is going to return after this one, because it took forever for this one to get out, but I would like to keep playing, but you guys let me know what you think, and on with the video. So, when he awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last. One that I would remember for the rest of my days. So yes, we're currently about to go in and defend Gina. And, seems interesting. Ooh, 17th of April, 9:32 AM at the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So, where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, her in a fancy dress. Susato, or whatever you say. I don't know. Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not that Miss Susato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. Oh, completely wrong voice. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? So true. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? So true, Wagahai. And he is gone. Ah, Waggy! Great way to show your support, Kitty. Well, having us around. What can it do? Oh, that reminds me. I brought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Runo? Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. I always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question already gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report. So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Oh, yeah. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon, so even if the train is delayed, she should be able to make it up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkey... Really? If only all good news cancelled out the bad. And look, the trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker's Parish is in purse pickle plunder, see? How'd you like that? Well, let them say what they want, see if I care. I can't because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Reno will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will. And then in tomorrow's papers the headlines will be... Discharged driver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo? Oh, yeah, let's hope so. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. Very nice. Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but... Thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Ginny? Well, I was wondering, is all, about Sholmes. Did they fix them up alright? Yeah, the operation was a great success. But, oh, he still hasn't come around yet. I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susato-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Jean Lestrade, counsel for the defense, the trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yeah, let's go, Gina. Iris. Lead the way, Runa. And so it begins. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that'll secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. Okay then. So big stakes. Hopefully I'm able to do this justice in the voice department. We'll see how it pans out. So April 17th, 10 AM, the Old Bailey courtroom. Singular. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Lord Van Zieks. My lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behaviour? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt with exclusively in matters which concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today you chose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, counsel. There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide beneath a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He's Mr. McGilder, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out. Thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wealthy scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East. The Nipponese. What? Did you really just say that? He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that out too, thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zieks' eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zieks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all of London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Former lieutenants of the British Army here, don't you know, chaps like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything. And I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But could I have? Women indispensable in society? Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Is something wrong right now? Oh, not exactly, it's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now, Lord Van Zieks, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a prawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. Oh! The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Add them to the bailiff, please. Autopsy report has been entered into the court record, as has the photograph. Hell to the yeah, we got some stuff to work with now. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Winterbank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullets. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it's only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? That girl's guilty as hail. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt just because of what she has to do to survive. My little Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious! After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pickpurse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Add them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zooks. At once, my lord. So, crime scene floor plan has been entered into the court record, and Winterbank's revolver has been entered into the court record. Phenomenal. I think I know how I can start making some points here. So, this isn't good. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Bruno. I think that's because it has. Let us begin. Nope. Accidentally nudged the R button. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Winterbank on April 16th of this year. Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court. Name's Nash Shulgrin. Occupation is baddie, professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation's same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We're what they call. They're 3 Skulkin brothers. What are you looking at me for that for? Don't want me with you, what? Cold blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have, so we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night we come across you, the very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash, he is. The very spit of him. So we decided then and there what we was gonna do. We was gonna call ya... Big Bruv Skulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Skulky Skulkin, and that's before he's run out of chips. Well then, Inspector Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand. The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they, these 3? No, my lord. Begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with these lots. 2 nights ago, these brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence! Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. Order, order! The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. Emerson Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Happy to. Because a skulkin's never skulkin. Get out of it! Okay, and First Lord Wisman's testimony then. Let's make sure we can get some hard-hitting stuff here. We was walking around Baker Street in the small hours and the gas store was ajar, you see. It was like some kind of sight, begging for us to go in it was. But once we got inside, called by me alarm me, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that nice and quiet. Immediately there's a hole in that. A terrible coincidence it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants as to the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Bruno? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense, because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. So immediately, I want to hone in on the Sholmes getting shot. So we'll do the rest of it. So walking the Baker Streets in the small hours in the gaff store with a jar. I hate how they localize this to actually be English, because these are words that I use, especially was with the Z. So I'm just going to say, call blind below me, you heard a gunshot from the back room. Went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. And then, we never done nothing, governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. I'm going to press that first. You didn't do or take anything, is that your story? Well, it was Bedlam sooner, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out me oxy-woxits. So, with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left nice and quietly, you say? That's right, governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence. Peace loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out of me Lucy Wockets. So, you'd clearly like us to believe... Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? By me, governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway. It was? Why, that bleating Nora. Didn't you mention that before? You were on with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes. I did hear that, actually. There's a rumour he'd been rushed to hospital. The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. The Skulkin brothers' gun has been entered into the court record. Phenomenal. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes? Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For, yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there. However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast to your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Winterbanks that night.
The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker shop that night?
So, I'm trying to think. Blood samples, could do that. Pawnbroker's ticket coat, no, that won't be it. But gilded case notes, today's paper. Could be today's paper, actually. I'm gonna search. So, perishes in pick, purse, plunder. No, is there anything about Shomes here? I don't... What is this about? We'll skim through it. There's a sensational story loaded on the front page as well, look. Ministry mole classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. For a 10-year-old, Lyra certainly has a finger on the pulse of the world news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently they're being intercepted by hostile nations. Communications being intercepted, but how somebody could be doing that? That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Bruno? No, of course not. I wonder, perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday? Yes, it could be, and it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment. So, details of today's paper have been updated in the court record. Also, the other side, mildly important. Pawnbroker perishes in pick, purse, plunder. How awful. Virginia, I mean. But tomorrow's headline will be, Discharged Diver is Dauntless Do-Gooder, right? Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger. Bigger? How? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps. Protects planets? I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great. So, nothing on Shomes then, which is kind of a shame. What else could there be? Blood samples? Oh. So, is that blood samples portfolio? Present that. Because obviously there's the bullet in the calendar. The evidence is in this portfolio.
What on earth do you have there, counsel?
During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do, how arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analysed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio.
And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein?
Yes, my lord.
No more dallying then, counsel. Present the person's evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene?
Is that a question?
What is that? Explain.
It's a photographic print taken at Winterbank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged in there.
Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Winterbank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th.
That's right, and while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes that this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Yeah.
Order! How's the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zeeks?
Fuck. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? but you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street.
Take it easy there, Governor, you're gonna land us in the soup. We had a deal, you weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Skulky, set the bloke straight.
I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zinks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my little Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact.
To what do you refer, Lord Van Zinks?
As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. In other words, these two men have no material connections to the murder of Mr. Winterbank at all. So that's it.
That's it, we had nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash, we didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget, attempted murder.
Quite a catalog, eh, fellas?
Going for it now, bruv. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat frequently. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric says who?
Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop.
Oh, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion.
Rather prodigal, I feel.
In fact, there are two such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here.
You say these cameras produce a print every half an hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help the anticipated thief conducting his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals.
One can pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on the camera.
Yeah, that's a bit of fright. Okay, bruv. We got a lady luck loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin?
Must have been just after 1.
Right, bruv.
Must have been, Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment, what scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence.
Good lord. It's the defendant. It's Gina Lestrade.
Oh, fuck. As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel.
The photograph of Gina has been entered into the court record.
I don't believe it. Ginny.
In short, the accused is the only person who could have fired and killed Mr. Winterbank. I say, my lord. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwan, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield.
Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point?
Going on the battle after retirement, you see? The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. We're all going down together, you mark my words. One for all and all for one. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached an agreement, haven't they? Is that what we're to understand?
Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
That is the Gyrodeb squadron's position, sir.
What? No! It's too soon to make a judgment here.
That is support for the court, man, on the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too. I think you'll find the truth is as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it.
I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember.
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky.
Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter, and now shall consider the verdicts to the court.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
What a surprise. Okay, well, it's fine. We get to listen to the closing argument music, so it's like, I can't complain. Even though it's not called that anymore. Shh.
It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already.
That photograph must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned. But Jeannie didn't shoot him. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination.
Very well, the court grants permission.
So, you refuse to admit defeat again? How unsurprising.
We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready?
Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Hello, cat. Are you part of the jury? No? You just want to make noise? Nice. Okay, I'll see if I can read this out and stop my cat meowing while I do. All the evidence clearly points to the finger and guilt at that young pickpocket AN. As a housemaid, I should like to see all the filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out.
If I had left it in there, I should think there will be repercussions by now.
Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop. In motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced that brothers are innocent. Cat, why are you jumping onto my microphone? No! Fine, guess what? If you meow into the microphone, I will end you.
The circumstances of the crime and evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively.
The storeroom locked from the inside, in which the victim and accused were discovered alone. And in the accused's hand, a fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses.
Not to mention this print. Taken from a chap who's seen an action on the battlefield, that young girl's on the verge of pulling the barley trigger.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, these cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you.
But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. Which means there's more to the situation than we've yet to see. Agreed.
You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Exclamation, whatever you want to call it. Cat, do you insist on standing on... Don't you bash your head against the desk. I am trying to record. If you just... You naughty... Sorry, my cat just jumped onto my lap and is demanding attention. Not now, I'm defending Jill. Nope, that's it. Do not bash your head into my microphone. You evil. You're evil. Stop being evil. Thank you. So, all the evidence clearly points to the thing. I'm going to hone in on juror number 4 first, because he gave us nothing. What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that. Ah, so sorry. Oh, no, sorry, didn't mean to do that. So sorry, you could say. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon, that totally passed me by. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So, what is it you think you've left behind? Ah, well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Standard thing, went in through the abdomen. But when I'd finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. What? Did he? Surely not. Exactly! Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern. And seeing as this case appears to all be sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewed up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure. So he just didn't give us anything then. So mine made up stop, global radio transmission, a verdict to follow, stop. Pressing you as well. Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid all along the ocean beds connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles? On the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You are well informed, young lady. Hehe. But cables will soon be a thing of the past. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried by overwaves to the four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. There telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys.
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on, I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? I think he just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really? A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would you just not use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Oh well, take a crime scene, for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you never even noticed before. What? Have you got any, Bruno? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope? Absolutely. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. So crime scene ones specifically. If we do this one. Alright then, number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photograph prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me 1 more print and I'll amaze you all. Shoo, okay. I need 1 more print. Oh no. I mean, I know we've got them, but I don't know. Is there something... Okay, what would have something scribbled on the back of it? That's not a rotatable photo. Don't think that's a rotatable photo. Maybe... I doubt there's something on the back of this one either. Yeah, no. Pawnbroker's ticket coat. No, that's, you. And then box you again. I feel as though I should have this. Gilded case notes, that won't be it. Blood samples photo. Yep. No, that ain't happening either. Maybe I need to get more evidence, I don't know. Today's paper, I doubt. Not at this moment, no. It's also not letting me out of here. Iris's story manuscript. It's not going to be found in here, is it? I would like to be let out of this because I know I can't do it. Review scene. It's put me in this, so how do I get out of it? I don't know what to do here. It feels like I kind of just have to take the hit. Like, yeah, no, that was like my final thing. It's like, oh, what if it slipped in with the representation papers? But clearly it's deciding not to, so. I'm just gonna present this again. Wait, sorry? What do you mean, one more print? Oh dear, don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno. Yes, so I know about this. I'll skim through this. I need 2 photographs for a stereoscope. So I need to fish it out of someone else, then. You know, one for the left eye and one for the right. I know how this works, but it just... Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I remember now. But the print we have from the pawnbrokery is just a normal photograph. No, I think you'll find that the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for that friendly explanation. So, yes, please just say we need to find more. Well, if we obtain another print at some... Okay, so they're not going to penalise me. I'm happy about that. Which is why I could have backed out and said no. I think you'll find that no little expression is really starting to annoy me. Right, let's get things back on track, shall we, Council? Yes. Okay, so... All we need is a shot from a slightly different location. We could see the scene in 3 different mentions. Spoke to you. Remember I'm saying never judge by clothes, judge by head. I will do you, because I'm pretty sure you're the guy from the second case. Please tell me you're not Villain Bolshevik. The Russian revolutionary? Revolutionary? Da, I believe there is such a rumor. It's just a rumor. As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like vicious criminal. Your words, not mine. I just want to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which glove fits? Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take a bus to Crystal Tower, please. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. I have so much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Skulkin brothers. Da, maybe they went inside Paul Broker's shop, but maybe they have done nothing wrong. That is all I have to say. The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night. Alright, well, first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Bruno? The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. Okay. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. But we know that Ginny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. We just need that other photograph, and I feel as though that's going to completely, like, knock down the dominoes. Although, let's see. All the evidence points, so pickpocket 10, filthy errors, and yeah, so, I think we've pressed you, right? We can't press you much more. Maybe, we'll do these 2. I think we'll finish this, maybe wrap up the recording. You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Gary Deb, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning not guilty or anything.
Can't be denied, I suppose.
The curse of the Garrideb house was the talk of the town after that business.
Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a belly soul to take up the tenancies.
Oh.
Haven't had the art to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough the old girl's clapped up.
Yeah, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot, but not for us, that's for dashed certain. I suppose not.
Of course.
There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. Obviously. But honestly, I really wish you'd pay more attention to the trial unless the juror number 2. And last but not least, juror number dos. Polishing the bench, I see. Again. A maid's work is never done, then the blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpursers and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those black slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast of his excellence by reading Rand's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes, a maid. It's really quite unforgivable. Because of the scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail, it was the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it might just be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement. Okay, phenomenal. So, no, so you want those 2 brothers of scum of the earth, they should get the swing for shooting the great detective. And finally, we can pit that against brothers are innocent. There you go.
Took long enough, but we're here. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my statement contradictory. Contradict.
Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick.
I do not have stick. I have mouse.
As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver.
Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand.
Surely you're not going to tell me that you didn't hear that?
Abdomen, abd. Sir? Sorry, my English is still leaning.
You are telling the court you didn't hear?
Forgive me, I did not hear.
Here is word, abdomen, part of person's body containing stomata and other vital organs.
If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker.
Who thought it was a good idea to let him be on the jury again?
So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before we never done nothing, but the truth is they shot detective. Da, this is double negative.
Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who looks like a criminal.
Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie. Is that true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so...
Enough. I trust no one now.
It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir.
I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself.
I'm afraid that won't be Yes, it is, Reno. Easily. Sorry? With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. Ah. If you compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. QE, Mr. Prosecutor.
Tut tut.
Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the skulking brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then? As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. That does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. So brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot man, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understood situation. Now I know brothers have lied, and I think it is very important to continue with trial. Shout out to the man, a literal criminal, for being in our favour. So, we did it, Bruno. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we might just turn the situation in our favour still.
Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence.
Okay, phenomenal. We can now use that as the stereoscope thing to see if anything was actually moved, even if it was slightly subtle. Another print in the court record, I wonder if we can make use of that. Oh, we absolutely can. And the game makes it mega easy because what's it called? No, it's you. I think we just press them and get back to where we were previously. Can it really show up new clues, though? Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Okay, so now we can throw this in and see where it leads us. Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. So now we have to do the scene of the crime one. And I believe... Here we go. Alright, these 2 prints were both taken with the same camera and window banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions for some objects. Then, when your brain merges the 2 images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the 2 pictures that's really important. So what happens if you use 2 photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene 3-dimensionally in any way. Oh! Of course, now I see. I think the young girl's discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these 2 pictures from Hurley's camera, Bruno. Go on. Okay. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? Of course there is that there's 2 people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away, but now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions. Alright, I'll give it a go. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes, then try to make the 2 pictures overlap exactly. I'm doing that now, and I've got to kind of lean in a bit. Okay, I think it's the ledger. You can actually do this with the photos they give you. I think it's the ledger. It's something on the desk that changes, I'm pretty sure. So, yes, if I try overlapping my eyes, I can make the quill pen from each picture overlap in the middle. I'll try to do the same, but it's like... Yeah, it's difficult with the obviously you can't put it up to your eyes like you could a DS screen. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Bruno? Yes, I saw it. What's going on with these 2 pictures? Some of the things on the counter sort of, they jump out at you. Yes, that's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Other amazing power? Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why did those to some of the counters seem to jump out at you like that, I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer on your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's a slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yes, there must have been. Wrong thing, but same good outcome.
Now all fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eye business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me?
I got the first idea.
You know, Bruno, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 AM. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter.
Zukas!
Someone tampered?
No information. Stop. No one's mentioned in testimony so far. Stop.
Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems, but I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in the summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by who?
Well, you suggesting that you might know?
Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. And I'm going to have to say it's probably a Winterbank. Quite clearly it was the work of this meddler.
I'm afraid you've digressed there, Counsel.
Oh. It should now be clear, even to you, who is responsible for the impeachable shift in the direction of this trial toward the absurd. Let me guess. Me? Shift aside, my Nipponese friend, and let the real warriors do the talking. Ugh. I really felt that one. If you think about it, it has to have been someone who was in Windbanks when everything was going on, doesn't it? Well, yes, that's true. So, that narrows it down a lot, I think. I'll have another think. You know, somebody must have touched the things on Mr. Winterbank's counter, so who was it? Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the countertop was moved, and then you're saying we might know? Okay, I think it's gonna be one of you. So, also, these guys have the exact same description, but they just change one word, which is quite funny. I would say one of the Skulkin brothers, maybe? It was the witnesses currently in the stand. The Skulkin brothers. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy lockets. My phrasebook says dukes is meaning hands and Lucy lockets meaning pockets. But this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now hold on there a minute, you can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pickpurse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely.
And why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Winterbank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interest lay within the storeroom, not the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pickpurse, a common gutter trash. Well, can any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madame. No better, in fact worse, than a pickpurse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinise testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said.
I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair.
He didn't have to do that, but he did. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand.
wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must pursue after trial. Stop. We'll return home via Regent Street. Stop.
Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their indications via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call this summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favour. 2 into guilty, 4 into not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue.
Yay, well done. Oh, by the way.
What?
You should hold on to this, Runo. You never know when it might come in useful.
Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely, but alright. The stereoscope has been entered into the court record. Lord Van Zooks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them.
I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued. Mwah. Lovely. Perfect place to end off then. Bang on an hour. Felt quite short in terms of what we got through, but since we're getting this screen, we did make a decent bit of progress then. But we are going to end this one here, so if you have enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It all helps a bunch. Let me know you want to see more of this and all that good stuff. It's been 2 months since the last episode. Oh my god, I am sorry. But hopefully next one will be quite sooner. And until next time, all said and all that aside, thanks for watching, guys. My name's been Neremik, and peace out.